Welcome in, everybody, to a deep dive into this ICC Champions Trophy Final, India versus New Zealand. It's going to be a great one. We've got some really interesting sources here to unpack. So let's get right into it. You know, a lot of people might be thinking about India as the favorites going into this match. But I'm really curious to get your take on New Zealand's chances. What do we need to know about this team?
Well, you know what's fascinating about this final is that it's a real clash of styles. On one side, you have India, a team known for their explosive batting and their mastery of spin bowling. But on the other side, you have New Zealand, often seen as the nice guys of cricket, but they've got a quiet strength that could really shake things up.
Yeah, that's right. And speaking of spin bowling, that's going to be a huge factor in this final, especially with the pitch we're expecting. It's supposed to really favor the spinners. And of course, India has this fearsome spin attack.
Absolutely. But here's where things get really interesting. New Zealand has quietly been developing a very potent spin attack of their own. This isn't the New Zealand of the past that relied solely on pace and swing. They've got Santner, Bracewell, Phillips, and even Ravindra, who's primarily a batsman, can turn the ball. So you've got this variety that makes them a real threat.
And that variety is going to be so crucial on this pitch. We've already seen how effective spin can be on this very same surface. Remember India's match against Pakistan in the group stage? They really struggled against the Pakistani spinners on this pitch. It took a Herculean effort from their lower order batsmen just to pull off a win.
Exactly. That match really exposed a potential weakness in the Indian batting lineup against quality spin. And, New Zealand is going to be looking to exploit that. Someone like Santner, for example, with his height and his ability to get some bounce, he could cause some real trouble for India's right-handed batsmen. That could be a major turning point in this match.
So spin is definitely going to be a battleground. But let's talk about New Zealand's pace attack for a second. India's batsmen are some of the best in the world. But New Zealand's pacers, they have this unique ability to generate swing. And that can be a real game changer.
You're absolutely right. Swing bowling, where the ball moves laterally in the air, is such a valuable weapon, especially in those early overs. We saw in a previous encounter between these two teams that New Zealand's swing bowlers really troubled India's top order. Guys like Southee and Bolt, with their height and their mastery of swing, they can create absolute havoc if the conditions are right.
So those first few overs are going to be absolutely crucial for India then.
Definitely. If New Zealand can pick up a couple of early wickets, it's going to put so much pressure on the Indian middle order, chasing a big total with the top order gone. That's a daunting task, even for a team as experienced as India.
Now, you mentioned earlier New Zealand being labeled as the nice guys, but their fielding is anything but nice. They're known for their incredible athleticism and their ability to turn almost any ball into a potential wicket.
Yeah, their fielding is truly a game changer. They bring this incredible energy and intensity to the field, and it puts so much pressure on the opposition batsmen. They cover the ground so quickly, they take these spectacular catches, and they're always creating run-out opportunities. Just like a Glenn Phillips. He's like a panther in the field.
So we've got India's batting might going up against New Zealand's spin and swing, and then on top of that, you've got New Zealand's fielding, which adds another dimension to this contest. It's really shaping up to be an incredible clash. But before we move on, let's talk a bit more about New Zealand's batting.
Yes, let's not forget about their batting. It's easy to underestimate them, but they have a very balanced and versatile batting lineup. They can build those solid partnerships, but they also have the players who can accelerate the scoring rate when they need to.
Right, their batting goes much deeper than people think.
Yeah.
We all know about Williamson's class and experience, but you've also got young players like Ravindra and Young who are more than capable of handling spin. And then you have the powerful hitters like Mitchell and Phillips who can change the game in an over.
And don't forget about Latham. He's such a cool head under pressure and a great anchor for the innings. This is a batting unit that shouldn't be taken lightly, especially against spin.
This is really interesting. Sounds like New Zealand has a very well-rounded team capable of challenging India in all departments.
Absolutely. They may not have the same star power as India, but their strength lies in their teamwork, their fighting spirit, and their ability to adapt to different conditions.
I'm starting to see why this final is so exciting. It's not just about individual brilliance, but it's about how these two teams with their contrasting styles will match up against each other. It's like a classic battle of David versus Goliath, and who knows, maybe David has a few surprises up his sleeve.
We've talked about the skills and the strategies, but let's not forget about the psychological aspect of this game. The pressure on India is immense. They're playing at home in front of 1 billion passionate fans, and the expectations are sky high. It's a lot to handle.
That's a really good point. We've seen it before, where pressure can really get to even the most talented teams. Remember India's performance in the last World Cup semifinal? They were the favorites going in, but they just crumbled under the pressure and lost to New Zealand.
Exactly. And New Zealand, on the other hand, they seem to thrive in that underdog role. They play with this sense of freedom and fearlessness. They don't have the same weight of expectations, and that can make them really dangerous.
So you're saying that the mental game could be just as important as the physical game in this final?
Oh, absolutely. Cricket is as much a mental game as it is a physical one. It's about who can stay calm under pressure, who
Mhm.
can make the right decisions in those crucial moments, and who can execute their skills when it matters most.
I'm curious about what specific moments in this match you think will be most crucial. Where do you think the tide could turn one way or the other?
Well, as we talked about earlier, those first few overs, the first power play, that's going to be absolutely critical. New Zealand will be looking to strike early with their swing bowlers and put India on the back foot. But if India can weather that storm and see off the new ball, they'll be in a much stronger position.
And what about the middle overs? With this pitch expected to favor spin, that's where the real battle might unfold, right?
Absolutely. The middle overs are where the spinners will really come into their own. Both teams have quality spin attacks, and this is where they'll be looking to control the game, build pressure, and pick up those crucial wickets. It's going to be a fascinating contest between bat and ball strategy and skill.
Yeah, I can already picture the tension building as those overs tick by.
Yeah.
Every run saved, every dot ball bowled, every wicket taken. Could be the difference between winning and losing.
And then, of course, you have the death overs, those final few overs of the match. That's where the pressure is at its peak, and we often see some incredible displays of hitting, bowling, and fielding.
It's like the moment of truth, isn't it? Where the cool heads prevail and the big players really step up. It's going to be a thrilling climax to what promises to be a captivating final.
And you know what's so great about cricket? It's a game of glorious uncertainties. There are so many factors that can influence the outcome of a match. The weather, a moment of brilliance, a crucial mistake. That's what makes it such a fascinating sport.
You're getting me excited already. Now imagine for a second that you're talking to someone who's watching a cricket final for the very first time. What would you tell them to pay attention to? What are some of those little things that can reveal a lot about how the match is unfolding?
That's a great question. Well, first and foremost, I would tell them to pay attention to the pitch. How's it playing? Is it offering turn for the spinners? Is there any movement for the seamers? Understanding the conditions is key to understanding the game.
So it's like understanding the battlefield before the armies clash.
Exactly. And then I tell them to watch the body language of the players. Are they confident? Are they under pressure? You can often tell how a player's feeling by the way they're moving, the way they're interacting with their teammates, even the way they're holding their bat.
So it's not just about watching the ball. It's about watching the players, reading their emotions, understanding their mindset.
Absolutely. Cricket is such a psychological game. And sometimes those nonverbal cues can tell you more than the scoreboard.
That's really fascinating. I'm learning so much from you. What else should our first-time viewer be keeping an eye out for?
Well, I'd also tell them to pay attention to the field placements. Where are the captains positioning their fielders? What plans are they trying to execute? The field placements can reveal a lot about the strategies and tactics being employed.
So it's like a chess match then, with each move carefully calculated and executed.
Exactly. And finally, I would just tell them to simply enjoy the spectacle. Cricket is a beautiful game, full of skill, strategy, passion, and drama. Soak it all in and let the game unfold.
It really sounds like this final is going to be a clash of styles and a real test of nerves for both of these teams. You've given us so much to think about in terms of those tactical battles that we might see play out. But if you had to pick one defining factor, the thing that could really tilt the balance in this match, what would it be?
That's a tough one. You know, there are just so many variables in cricket, and as we've been talking about, both teams have strengths that could prove decisive. But if I had to pick one thing, I think it really comes down to which team can handle the pressure better.
You've touched on this a little bit already, but why do you think pressure is going to be so crucial in this particular final?
Well, for India, the pressure is almost palpable. They're playing at home in front of their incredibly passionate fans with the weight of a billion expectations on their shoulders. Anything less than a victory is going to be seen as a disappointment. And that kind of pressure, it can be incredibly inspiring, but it can also be absolutely crippling.
And for New Zealand, it's almost the opposite, right? They're coming in as the underdogs with a lot less pressure to perform.
Exactly. New Zealand can play with a sense of freedom and really nothing to lose. They've shown time and time again that they can upset the big teams when the stakes are high. Remember their performance in the last World Cup? Nobody expected them to reach the final, but they defied the odds and almost pulled off that stunning victory.
So it's almost like this psychological tug of war.
Hmm.
with India battling their own expectations and New Zealand embracing that underdog status.
Exactly. And that's what makes this final so compelling. It's not just a contest of skill and strategy, it's a battle of mentalities.
Uh-huh.
It's about who can stay calm, who can stay focused, who can stay composed when the pressure is at its absolute peak.
This has been an amazing deep dive. You've given me and all of our listeners so much to think about going into this final. What are your final thoughts for everyone getting ready to watch this epic showdown?
I would say this: don't just watch the match, experience it. Feel that tension, feel that excitement, feel that drama. Pay attention to all those little details that we've talked about: the pitch, the body language, the field placements, and most importantly, appreciate those contrasting styles and those unique personalities that make these two teams so special.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
This final is more than just a game. It's a clash of cultures, a celebration of skill, and a testament to that enduring spirit of competition. So to everyone listening, buckle up, get ready for a roller coaster of emotions, and enjoy the spectacle that is the ICC Champions Trophy Final.
And who knows? Maybe we'll witness a moment of magic, a performance for the ages that will be etched in cricketing history forever.
That's the beauty of cricket, isn't it? You never know what's going to happen next. This has been The Deep Dive, taking you beyond the headlines and into the heart of the matter. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.